What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
Mr. James Hsu.
.com, and we are here.
Oh, going soft. I like it.
Forgot what we're watching.
We're watching a movie.
Oh yes, we are here to see Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper Rocket Raccoon in
A Star
is Born. Identity.
Sir, Identity.
Born Identity.
Oh, you're so funny. You should be on one of those talk shows.
Hey!
All right, this is not how the review we were expecting to go. But anyway, A Star is Born. Have you ever seen any of A Star is Born?
I haven't seen the first version, nor the second, nor the third.
Okay.
And I didn't even know you were in this until you told me this is like the fourth incarnation of this type of movie.
Yeah. So we go way back when, I believe to 43. We go back to the first movie. It wasn't obviously a bigger movie and a bit different. The original two films, this one and the film with Judy Garland, which was remade of this one, are about becoming film stars. So it's about
oh really?
A girl
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, it's about a girl who comes, obviously moves to Hollywood, has big dreams of becoming a movie star, not so much a singer. 37, thank you. And becomes.
Who are you?
I know. It's been a long week, and I just saw Venom, which we reviewed. Just click that white eye.
Ding.
My mind's all over the place from that. But we have these these movies, which he never says in the movie.
He did.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Oh, I was listening the whole movie for that.
Lungs,
wrong
heart,
movie. No.
Pancreas or that. But he did say it. I'm sorry.
It's a Venom reference. So these two are about becoming a film star. Watching these movies, I've always liked the Judy Garland one. And then, of course, the 70s, you have A Star is Born with, Chris Christopherson and Barbra Streisand, which was a huge movie. A lot of people loved it, but that's becoming kind of a rock star and a pop star, and that's where this one kind of leads into. Bradley Cooper, directorial debut, a very smart man, because if you're going to make a movie for the first time, why not do a movie that has always done well at the Academy? I believe all of them have been nominated. 2 of them have done really well awards-wise. They're winning, but all have done really well. Critically and all that stuff. So it's a pretty smart choice for your first directing movie. And then he chooses.
Or it could be a very scary one to do.
That's true. But we'll get into this because I really want to talk about kind of the whole identity and the fact that this is the 4th time the movie's remade and the purpose and how is it different. But you also are very smart to cast Barbra Streisand. You cast a very famous good singer like Lady Gaga. I'm a fan. There are many fans of this movie. I actually didn't see this at a critic screening. I saw this in a Lady Gaga fan event. So I was surrounded by Gaga fans, and it was a very interesting experience. And I'm going to tell you this now, before I get into my review. If you're going to watch this movie and you're local, or you have AMC's local to you, watch this movie at the Dolby, because a movie that is reflecting concerts so much, it really feels like you're in a concert. The use of speakers and the sound of everything like that is incredible in a Dolby experience. I don't think it's a big... Oh, and then we have Bradley Cooper starring in an actor who has, not done very much wrong in his time. I mean, I've always been a fan of him. I think he's done
one of his best movies for me is still Limitless.
Limitless.
I love that movie.
You and maybe 2 other people in the world.
Can't walk. There you go.
There they go. We have everyone who liked that movie.
Comment below if you like Limitless. Comment below if you like Limitless.
But obviously Silver Linings Playbook, his work with J-Law, all of these movies that have done very well. Now we have him alongside Lady Gaga. So I don't think it's a big surprise that this movie is very good. But let's hear from you first.
And they premiered it at TIFF, I think. They premiered
Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah, and then that came out well. Mm-hmm. And so got people jacked up. And then what really got me is when you told me you think that this for me is going to be like my La La Land of this year,
which
meaning
you like.
The film I like.
Because he's a sucker for love movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a major love story. So after seeing A Star is Born,
so I saw it in the public theater with here at AMC Town Square on Tuesday, and you were there.
Yeah, the Lady Gaga fan event.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were sitting where?
I was sitting 2nd row in the Dolby, so I was like this. Thank goodness those seats reclined, because I was luckily like this. But it kind of helped because I was really immersed.
Yeah, because I was in the top handicap.
Nosebleeds.
See, yeah, which I actually like sitting there.
Yeah.
And okay, so yeah. Anyway, so I
want to put you there with us.
I thought, I need you to understand where we were during this. But I really enjoyed this film.
Yeah, was I right?
It's been a few days since I've seen it.
Yeah.
8.5 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
That's what So it's 8.5 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it. I think you could have trimmed some of the fat. Or it was the movie. It was 2.5 hours.
About 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I think you could probably
one of the shorter versions of this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. These movies are notoriously long. So we got kind of lucky.
Oh, okay.
Because most of them, I believe, are over 2 hours and 30 minutes.
So I felt you could you probably could have cut out about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we've texted about like this because then I text you literally the next day.
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you think? You're like, were you there? You know, so the movie was powerful. Okay, so Gaga. There was someone that said something. Oh, your friend when we were randomly here, she said if Lady Gaga wasn't famous and she really was just an actress, or this is her first time movie, like it is her first time movie, then now she would have became famous.
Yeah.
She's gonna be a superstar Hollywood star, and it didn't have anything to do with her music.
You could say this is a superstar born because Lady Gaga.
A Star is Born, huh?
Because Lady Gaga really proves that she could do about anything in this movie. I mean, I know she's had some movie work and a few TV show work.
She won an Emmy for American Horror Story,
and then she was in she was in a few movies, but smaller stuff.
She may be one of the. I think there's only like 15 people in the world that's ever gotten a EGOT.
Yeah.
She might get an EGOT.
You never know.
Potentially. But anyway, so she was awesome.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, awesome. And this movie really opened up for me. And this, I don't have anyone in my family that is addicted to alcohol.
Yeah.
Or I don't have anyone. So when I'm watching this movie, I'm getting like immersed, you know, and it's you just feel so much pain for moments in this film of certain things that are happening. And then that was powerful. Bradley Cooper, awesome. Lady Gaga, awesome. You mentioned earlier, it's like being in a
concert.
The music is very good.
Top notch. Yeah.
Yes, it's very good music.
If this movie walks away with no other nominations, song and soundtrack. Yeah, you have.
Yeah, the one that they released was
Shallow.
Yeah, that's
a phenomenal song. Yeah, that's gonna do some business.
Yeah, that's a lock in, I'm sure. So yeah, overall though, the movie was really good. I felt that if they wanted to, they probably could have just snip, you know, just like you're eating a ribeye, right?
Yeah.
You love ribeye, but even when you're eating a ribeye or a prime rib, my favorite, there's chunks of fat that's like, do you really need to eat that, bro?
Yeah.
And I would say no.
Yeah, and I don't, and just to
but
kind
it's still good.
Yeah, to piggyback on you, because I don't want people to get misconstrued to what you're saying. It's not the fact that it's long that you didn't like. It's the fact that those moments don't feel like they're not good enough to be along with.
My favorite movie of all time is Titanic, 3 hours and 14 minutes. So
yeah,
has nothing
you have
to do
no
with
problem with length. It's the
point.
fact that those movies, those moments don't hold up to the point where they feel good enough. Yeah. Yeah, wow, I have a lot to say about this movie, but I'll try not to be repetitive and go in my same circles. I think you're right. Performance-wise, you knocked it out of the park. You have some really, really talented, casting here. Bradley Cooper is really top-notch. And, to be honest, I think a lot of people are going to go into this movie thinking that this movie really is kind of about Lady Gaga's character and about, her. And it is. She's a focal point, but she's not who this story is about.
I believe, though, people did go up to her at the beginning and say, you are not attractive, or you...
Oh, I'm sure.
I 100% believe that.
Yeah. And, well, it was interesting. In the beginning of that, we got to see the TIFF premiere, and we got to see some interviews on the red carpet.
Yeah, that was...
And she had said that she had started with a lot of confidence, but she had to go back to her days of middle school and high school to kind of channel that self-conscious feeling. So that was kind of cool to hear that she was already like going in confident, and that sort of reflected
in her
here.
career.
In her
I
career,
walked in late.
She in that interview she said that when she started her career, she knew she was going to make it. She was confident going in.
Okay, that's
but she
cool.
said in her middle school and high school days when she was bullied and made fun of, and everyone would hold her then. So she just kind of went through it earlier, essentially. But I think to kind of really set the tone for this movie review is Kevin Smith. I listened to an interview with Kevin Smith a while back.
Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah, well now it's Fat Man Beyond because he's no longer a fat man.
Dang! When did they do that? Sorry,
a couple weeks ago.
I didn't know that.
He talked about how that, and I guess this is kind of true scientifically too. I mean, I'm sure someone here will laugh at me because I'm not really sure of the process. But like physically, when a star is born, it is something kind of destructive, I believe. But Kevin Smith talked the fact that the people around him they always mention how they kind of live in his shadow, and I guess that's true. When you're someone who wants to be a star, the other people around you have to fall. And I think that's a really interesting comment. Like, the idea that if you want to be someone big, then the people around you will always have to live in that shadow because you need that support. They need to be there for you, and that kind of stops them from rising. And this movie literally is about a rising star and a falling star. A person whose career is ending and a person whose career is beginning. And it's this really interesting conversation about two people who want fame, glory, to be an artist, but their times are kind of shifting, and one has to fall in order for the other one to rise. You know, and not the sense of like they physically want each other to fall, but that's just how it kind of works because someone needs the support and pushing and all that. And I think there's this kind of really romantic, poetic thing about this movie. And all versions of the movie, the character, the male character has been kind of an alcoholic who's fallen and at the end of his career. And I think Bradley Cooper brings this really, really great humane performance. And as the movie progresses, we really see this kind of tragic figure kind of come about. And as you said, you know, I mean, you went right for the jugular, you know, I mean, the real raw of this movie is about someone who's addicted and what they could do.
Which I didn't know. Which is good too, I think.
Yeah.
If you go in like me and you don't know the previous 3 incarnations, and then when you told me, I won't say it now, but when you told me a certain part, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it's really, really heartbreaking, but there's also this kind of beautiful element of doing something for someone you love. But I mean, I think a lot of people who aren't familiar with these other incarnations might go in thinking that this is a movie about Lady Gaga, who started from nothing, becomes a star, and about her journey, and it's really not. It's really about, you know, you being someone who has to take care of someone else. And I think anyone who has had someone with addiction or anything or any kind of affiliation of that in their life, that really hits home. I mean, that really, really kind of connects to people. And I think that's where the heart of this movie is. Yes, it's about fandom and making it and all that, but when you really kind of peel out all the layers, I mean, this is really a tragic love story. I mean, I don't want to get too literary or too over the top here, but like almost the 2 star-crossed lovers that were never meant to be, or they are meant to be, but they physically just can't be together. And I think that's where this movie really shines. I mean, that's where the heart of it. But for I think all the people that are expecting to see that other movie I mentioned, you know, the first hour and 15 minutes is really kind of about Lady Gaga, where she is, Bradley Cooper finding her and kind of bringing her into the spotlight. And that hour and 15 minutes
goes by in 10 minutes.
It's flawless. It is so well done. And I mean, everything about it is so good. And then Gaga starts to rise, and then things kind of get a little muddled. Mm-hmm. Then there's a major event, which has also happened in the other movies. This major an event happens at an award show, and then the movie really it's been done in all of them, and then the movie really picks up. Similar. Really picks up again, and that's when Bradley Cooper's performance just really hones it in. And that's when we really kind of explore this idea of rejection and hate and addiction and all these really, really intense emotions. But that middle part that you're mentioning, when she makes it and we kind of go over the idea that she's maybe selling out, and Bradley Cooper is trying to deal with the fact that she's getting more famous than him, and he and himself is trying to find his way back into the spotlight, those moments don't always feel as strong as they should. And I feel like we miss a lot of really good moments between them. I feel like there are a lot of things that we could have seen that really further develop their relationship in our eyes. Because, granted, this movie is like you said, 2 hours and 20 minutes. You know, their relationship goes so quickly, and things happen so fast, and there's so many other events that are taking place. It's hard to kind of really tell this relationship is as good as it is. So, surprisingly, this being a shorter version, and like we agree that, you know, those middle parts don't feel as strong, I think you add to it, you can make this movie more full. I think there are some really, really good stuff here. But I mean, every time they're on screen, I mean, from the moment they meet, their chemistry works unbelievably. I mean, I think they're a really, really great duo. You know, you would have sat me down and told me that Bradley Cooper could find someone that he has as good as chemistry with than J-Law. I would have told you you're crazy, and he finds it with Lady Gaga. And to
maybe he's that magnetic.
Yeah, and to be able to direct at the same time. I mean, this is not an easy performance. This is something that is really, really trying, and you could see that it really kind of took his wear on him in his performance.
The brother, the guy that played the brother.
So to get to that, I would think, like, out of this movie, though, I think the most touching things for me was Sam Elliot, who everyone assumed was going to play Bradley Cooper's dad because he's a much older guy, but ends up just playing his older brother. And the times when they are on screen together, it is explosive. I'm a sap. And I've
true.
admitted this many times. It's pretty easy to make me cry. And I only cried once in this movie. And I cried in a scene with Bradley Cooper and Sam Elliot. And it's towards the end of the movie, and it's really small, and like they don't even have much time together, but it is such a heartbreaking yet touching moment. That to me is why this movie is worth it, because it in a moment like that is literally probably 30 seconds, captivates so much real emotion. It made me think of Raging Bull, which is a completely opposite movie, where Robert De Niro is a drunken boxer and who's estranged from his brother, who's played by Joe Pesci. And there's this scene towards the end of that movie where he's just trying to hug his brother, and it is like so heartbreaking. There's something similar happens here, and it's really, really intense. But even in the beginning of the movie, the first 30 minutes, there's blood in the trailer. So I won't consider this a spoiler or anything. We won't do spoilers. Bradley Cooper punches Sam Elliot, knocks him out, and then the two continue to have an argument. But they are like so angry with each other. There's so much tension, there's so much hate, and so much love too, that they just start immediately kind of crying as they're arguing. They're talking about their father who's passed away, and they do it in a way that almost is kind of like a relationship, where their heads are kind of, at bay. They're yelling, they're angry, but they are so dependent on one another that they have to stay connected physically. Like, it is such a great moment that they're crying, and they're like, they're nose to nose ready to fight, but they're both crying, and they're kind of doing it as a term of just like, we're going to fight and you want to get in my face, but also they can't release because there's that kind of connection there. And I thought that was just so beautiful. I think to really sum it up, Bradley Cooper in the movie, well, no, actually, Sam Elliot is quoting his brother and says, Jack is his name in the movie, thinks that music is 12 chords or 12 notes.
Oh, this was really good. Yeah,
12
that
notes.
was really good.
All that matters is how an artist sees those 12 notes and what he does with it. And that couldn't be more true to describe this movie. I have a lot of conversations when people find out what I do and things like that they want to talk about why movies get remade all the time. And I think, people say, you're going to make a movie you're going to remake this movie 4 times, can't you think of anything new? I think this is an example of, the same 12 notes, but it's how the filmmakers looked at these notes and made them unique and different. And Bradley Cooper brings such a fresh new take with this movie, and really kind of, integrates new culture and new music, and does these really small things to make it feel very modern, but tells a story that no matter what time frame you're in is very true. Again, about this kind of relationship with someone you love, but that could also be very toxic, and how you handle that, and just how it could affect you and another person. And I think the way that he saw these 12 notes, this movie that's been made 3 times up until this point, and this story that you could say Hollywood's been telling forever, was really unique and very different. Music score, I agree with you on everything. Oh, obviously a really, really strong movie. I think it was very close to being, the best movie of the year. It's that good. It's a very good movie. I just wish that middle part would have had some more substance, or we would have, they kind of beat you over the head with the fact that she's selling out. She goes from this kind of country guitar playing singer-songwriter type to kind of the hip-hop auto-tuned backup dancer type of star. And we pushed that really, really hard, and I wish we would have kind of attacked that more, because obviously it's bothering Bradley Cooper, and eventually it leads to a fight, but it doesn't really give us that moment where our nails are really into it. But really powerful stuff. It's definitely going to be, I couldn't imagine going to see this movie with someone and them not liking it to some degree. I think there's really something in there for everybody. There's a lot of great comedy in the first act.
I was with my girlfriend, she loved it.
Yeah, the first act, you have a lot of great comedy. Instead of an old rock bar or an old dive bar, Bradley Cooper wanders into a drag bar. And, this is when we first...
Is that what they did in the previous ones?
No, they were rock bars and dive bars. Yeah. And this one we have a drag bar, and that creates a lot of comedy. Their first date is this really spontaneous, fun night. Andrew Dice Clay is also in the movie. He plays Lady Gaga's father, which is kind of funny because he's been going around beat out De Niro for this role and all this stuff, which I don't think is very true. Which might be Bradley Cooper might have chosen Andrew Dice Clay over Robert De Niro, but only because the Andrew Dice Clay. The persona? Father is very much like the Andrew Dice Clay persona. He's kind of a putz, and he's kind of always trying to be the biggest guy on the block, and that's kind of the character. He's a very full of himself
this
character.
guy don't even act like
yeah,
it.
yeah. Robert De Niro, I think it's hard for people to buy, because he's just
so serious.
legendary.
And
I don't think he could.
sense.
I mean, he definitely could have done it, but I just think it's harder for people to buy. Where Andrew Dice Clay, not everyone knows him, and I think it works. Yeah, I mean, again, I think this movie is hard. I think it's got a really great message. I think it looks at it looks at themes and ideas that this movie has looked at, or all the previous films have looked at in a very, very unique and special light. And I found it really moving. I found it, a movie that I really enjoyed.
Love it.
Yeah,
How do you think it's
go
gonna do Oscar runs?
For sure, song. I would be shocked if Shallow doesn't get nominated, let alone win. I mean, it's early. We've not seen a lot yet.
Really nothing.
Really nothing.
Really nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer that we're this far into the year and there's really not many contenders.
No, no, that's fair though. I mean, they're gonna start hitting us hard.
I mean, it's October,
this
but
month,
still,
November,
I
December.
felt like last year we were going pretty hard. I mean, I think 2 of the Academy nominees were in February of that year. So I mean, this year it's like and then I think Bradley deserves a nomination. As of right now, I think Bradley deserves a nomination and Gaga deserves a nomination. I don't have much competition for them right now, just of what I've seen. But I mean, Lady Gaga really proves a lot here. But for me, and I know that people are going to take away Gaga's performance, I think here you have Bradley Cooper shining. And you know what? I wouldn't even mind a Sam Elliot supporting actor nom. I don't think he'll get it. But then again, we've noticed that sometimes the Oscar does these kind of lifetime, oh, this guy's been around for years and no one's ever given the appreciation. Sam Elliott's is a vet. He's been around forever. So I mean, to throw him that nomination wouldn't be super surprising. It's just kind of oh, finally we'll give it to him as his epitome of his career. Good stuff.
Love it all.
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned it, but we also did a review for
Venom.
Tom Hardy's.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
Okay,
we started off a little crazy.
We are pancreas.
Yeah, so go check out that review. Also, last night was a pretty big night for this guy right here.
Yeah, it was fun.
His new book, How to Each Way to a Six-Figure Income, came out. We had a big book launch party last night.
A lot of people came out from Las Vegas.
So make sure to go check out that video on his channel. You can find out a bunch of cool stuff on his channel, which will have a bunch of
Our
cool
new
things
channel.
to check it out. Yeah,
we're doing
a lot of good things coming up, so make sure to check it out. Next week, we're going to go to the moon with Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong.
Yep, and the director of Whiplash and La La Land, Damien Chazelle.
Whiplash, La La Land.
2 films that were amazing.
One film that was amazing and unforgettable. The other one was okay.
Well,
and then we have Goosebumps.
when I first met him, I felt the same way, and then I gave it a chance, and I realized how wonderful he can be.
Oh, I see what you did there. So I'm like La La Land.
No.
Oh, what were you trying to say?
Yeah. You're,
from
your point of view.
In your acronym, I'm like La La Land.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have Goosebumps 2, and then what was the other one?
Goosebumps 2, Jack Black.
Bad Times at
In the El Royale,
El Royale.
with the Thor short.
Which kind of looks like Hateful Eight in a motel, set in the 70s, 80s, 70s.
I didn't like Hateful Eight,
I don't know.
Just be honest.
Well, you're tripping on that because Hateful Eight's solid.
Not really. Yeah, not really.
You're wrong, but that's okay. That's bound to happen here on ChasingCinema.com.
Yeah, because you're wrong 9 out of 10 episodes. So what's one for me?
Go see A Star Is Born and try to see it in the Dolby Theater because I can recommend it enough. Tomorrow is the release date for the album too. I'm sure. I mean, that soundtrack is going to be booming. I can't wait to see Record Sales day one because I know that's going to be.
What are all the Gaga's fans called? They're called monsters. All their monsters are gonna go nuts.
Yeah. Well,
they've been writing the negative reviews on Venom.
Yeah, I heard that. So Venom's been getting a lot of bad reviews, which, granted, you could see if we think that's warranted or not. But a lot of the footage, a lot of the research is finding out they're all Gaga.
Yeah, they're all the same
want this
reviews.
Movie to fail.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, that's so silly because chances are the people who are going to see A Star Is Born
aren't gonna see Venom, dog. You ain't gotta do that.
So that's a bummer.
If there was Aquaman versus Infinity War 2,
that research stuff is so funny. There was something else that came out.
Star Wars,
too.
Last Jedi.
Oh, it was
Russian bots. Over half of them were Russian bots.
It's all politically charged. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, go see A Star Is Born because it'll touch your heart and it'll.
I'll end it with this. Me and my girlfriend, or at least my girlfriend for sure, she was just like, I don't know if I can watch that again. Star Is Born. Yeah, because that movie's hard.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know the ending. I don't
your
know
favorite movie's Titanic.
I don't know
man.
any of this.
How many people die in that movie?
Yeah, but I didn't know
Spoiler alert,
what was going to happen in this movie. Yeah, if you haven't seen Titanic at this point, though, you want to watch it. You weren't gonna watch it, but yeah, this movie though is hard.
This is a hard pill to
It's
swallow.
a hard movie.
But I mean,
hard, man.
You know, I think you have to look at it like this. Like, you know, not every movie.
Like that.
Stop, I'm trying to be serious here, man. Not every movie can be popcorn, right? Not every movie can be the Greatest Showman,
like
cotton candy, you know, just like, oh, nom, nom. You know, some movies got to really kind of show you that this is still an art form.
This movie
that has a message.
Just freaking roundhouse kick to the face.
Well, movies like this also tend to don't need to be rewatched so much because it sticks with you. Like, this is a movie that I won't forget. This is a movie that I'll constantly think about. I mean, there's a few moments in my head that are like just... I know me and you talked about one scene in particular, like it's just burnt in your head.
Charlie!
So, I mean...
Did you know that Charlie is Bradley Cooper's real dog in real life?
I did not know that.
Yes!
Very cute dog. Anyway.
Who would've known?
The dog, of course. But yeah, I think this is definitely... I think going back... I mean, I really want to go see it again. You know, I'm gonna try to take my girlfriend here. I'm gonna try to drag her to go see it. But I mean, it's a movie that I think is people should go see. So... Anyway, we'll
Yes!
got her on camera. Yeah, so next week.
See you next week.
AMC Times Square.
Yeah,
we talked about them already.
Chasing Simba comes known as
The Film Lovers website.